But Chris, that comes down again. And every time that I see a seller that goes through the ladder, learns all the skills, develop all the different mindsets that you have to go through, a successful guy like you, there is someone behind that shaped you at some point, besides all your own success and your accountability. And you had this JP, this guy, and some others for sure.
There's been a few, but
could be a manager or someone that is training you or someone upper in the chain of command that could make or break your sales career.
There could be, but I think this might be a funny time to move on and just tell you a funny story. I haven't always been 100% successful. I've been in sales this whole time. Like I've not got jobs that I've applied for. Funny story. If you want to go on to that one, a funny story about me not getting a job. So
go ahead.
I was over in Australia.
So tell us. This is the question.
Yeah.
Tell us a fun story, either for a failure or for a success, about your sales journey.
I'll tell you a funny story. I'm unsure if this is a failure or if it's a funny story. You two can be the judges. Okay.
We will.
All right. So here we go. Set the scene. How old are you now, Kevin?
35.
I was literally 35. I'm 35. Been in sales then for about maybe like 10 years or so.
Same like me.
I know my shit. I'm doing pretty good. I'm out there. I'm doing a nice job. I was in a position where I was a channel territory manager. So, you know, I was
you were scaling.
I was scaling up.
In Australia?
In Australia, right? And then this job came up. This company that big in San Francisco opened their offices in Sydney. I'm not going to talk about the company, but it was one of these companies that did storage solutions. One of the first companies that did online storage solutions, if you will. We're not talking about storing your clothes, but, you know, for file sharing and fuck it, we can talk about it. Dropbox
I was about to say Dropbox could be one, right?
So Dropbox were dropping in to Australia.
Said, this is mine.
I have been working in Australia now for maybe 4 or 5 years. I've been in sales for 10 years. At that point, I'm pretty confident. I know what I'm doing. I know the local market. I know the local industries. I know people. I know the culture. I know the physical locations. I know the hubs. I know sales. As a part of my job, I do sales coaching. I do sales training. I'd also started a little sales consultancy on the side where I was actually teaching people like how to cold call, how to do this kind of stuff, right? Nice. So I thought this is great. But their landing team come in. There's a landing team. They've got like 4 or 5 people. They're all like 19, like first job straight out of like MIT or whatever it might be. I'm making that bit up. I don't know where they came from, right? Anyway, they're advertising for account executives. They're account executives. So I put my CV in, get an interview. I go in, walk me in through the room, and they say, okay, the hiring manager will be with you soon. We're running a bit behind. So they led me into a room that was like basically a cupboard, and it had a whiteboard on the side, had some pens on the side, and I was just sat there. And they said, he'll be about like 5 minutes. And I thought, you know what? This is perfect.
This is for me.
This is perfect. So I thought, I jumped up, pen out immediately. I started writing down exactly sales process, sales qualification. So running through like MEDDIC, running through how you think about what I spoke to you about before, like a copy of Command of the Message, if you will, big believer in Command of the Message. I started writing down all of these things, personas, because I knew, I'd done my research, had this beautiful whiteboard. So the guys come in, they're like, oh, what's that? I said, well, look, instead of you interviewing me and, me just trying to fumble through, I thought I would just demonstrate and give you an example. You're looking for salespeople.
I think it's really smart.
Let me talk you through. I've got a photo. I shared it on LinkedIn. Because I thought 10 years. I thought I'm not going to tell this story. The other day I thought, screw it, I'm telling this story. I put the story on LinkedIn and I shared the picture. I took a picture of the whiteboard. Go look at it afterwards. I sent it to you. So I've got the whiteboard on the wall. Right. They come in and they're like, what's this? I said, well, I thought I would give you a demonstration. Instead of you trying to, navigate, I can just give you, this is what I would do. Here's how I would come into the role. This is the sales methodology I would bring in. If you've got your own, I'll learn that. I just want to give you my understanding and what I would do. About 5 minutes in, they go, hold on a minute. Walk out. Go bring other people in. So now I've got an audience, right? Sat there, one of the guys, so geezer pulls out a pen. He's like, right, writing it down.
So instead of an interview, it was like a coach.
I'm doing this coaching thing, right?
Training.
And they were like, that's brilliant, Chris. Absolutely fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. Good. Anyway, so that finishes, shake hands, all that good stuff. All right. So, I'm chasing up, I'm following up, I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to add value each time. Not just where are we, but hey, saw this, thought of you, blah, 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 all the good stuff. Invite me back in. I get about 5 interviews. It must have been 4 interviews at this point. And they had asked me through, what do you want to do? And I said, I'll start, what I would like to do, start as an account executive. I recognize you've just landed. I'll start as an account executive. If I do a good job and if I prove to you that I can do this job, I would love to move more into a team lead role, kind of more where I am now. I'm a territory manager at the moment. I'm happy to go be an account executive, run around like a crazy man. I will literally be a beast. I will run around and I'll bring the orders in. I prove myself. I get team lead over whatever. One day, I would love to have a career path where I could be country manager for a company like this. Okay, Chris. Good. I get an email the next day. Chris, you got 5 minutes. And I'm like, this is it, boys. We're going to the top.
I got it.
This is it. I got it. Age doesn't have anything to do with it, but the experience might do. So I have a very inexperienced guy on the call. He must be 20s. I did look at his LinkedIn. I think he'd maybe been in the company for 6 months, and that was like his first job out of college. This was the advice that he gave me. Literally, I can remember it. Chris, we're really impressed by you and your sales skills. We're really impressed by the coaching and everything that you did.
When you start like that, I'm feeling the pain already.
The sandwich starts.
Man. And I'm like,
we need to talk.
And then he's like, the thing is, we've already got a sales manager and we've already got a country manager. And you're very ambitious about wanting to move into those roles. And we want someone who just wants to be an AE for the next 3-4 years and run a... Chris, my advice, you should have been less ambitious.
What? Is this?
I had to go like, you're hiring a fucking salesperson and you want them to be less ambitious. You know what? Bring me the most ambitious killers out there.
And I will hire them.
And I will do my best to hold them at bay as I can until they either leave me and go get a role somewhere else because that's what they deserve, or I can put them in that position.
But how a company like Dropbox became Dropbox with this kind of people?
I was, honestly, I still find it funny now. I put the story on LinkedIn.
They made you a favor.
I was like, wow, that is brilliant. I would have been okay if they said, Chris, I didn't like your shirt, stupid shirt. Chris, I hate...
Whatever the other thing.
Whatever it was. Don't tell a sales guy that I was too ambitious. Oh, what do you want? You're literally telling me you want less ambitious people to come and work. What do you think they're going to wake up and bust their ass and go out there and run around to prove a name and bring on the road and bring in all those orders for you if you hire an averagely ambitious person? Hi, I'm Chris. I'm averagely ambitious.
Imagine a conversation with your manager saying, "Hey, we are not hitting target." No, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be that ambitious.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
We're doing our reviews. Chris, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself being demoted because I don't want to be so ambitious.
Maybe because your company's telling me.
Maybe I could be like I could be lower in the company.
That's crazy, man.
It was brilliant. It was anyway. I still remember that. It was beautiful.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know what it. I have no more questions.
That was a good one.
I have no idea what we have to talk about right now.
No. I think
this is crazy.
That was a good.
But I think many companies still are like this out there, right? They want to fetch it. Maybe their hiring process is not correct, right?
Well, look, I do understand. If I'm hiring an AE and I'm bringing in someone who's very experienced and they're immediately saying, I want to be this, I was hyper clear. If I deliver over this period of time, in the future, 12 months, 24 months, perhaps we build the team, you hire more people. I prove myself that I could go be. And I'd have been okay if they were like, you're shit at sales training. I'd have been like, oh, okay, maybe I am. But it was that was the advice afterwards. So but I do understand if you or me, if we were hiring someone tomorrow for an AE role and they say, I want to be an AE for 3 months, then I want to be the team lead. You'd be like, no, I need an AE for 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I get that.
Makes sense.
It makes sense. But anyway.
It's curious, man. Sometimes these misalignments or misunderstandings about how the company, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, I think some companies just want to grow and grow and grow.
I want more stories.
Yeah, you have
more stories.
I got maybe a couple more. I think one of the things that you want. I think one of the. Let's go to a fun. I mean, there was the moving from a IC individual contributor into sales manager.
Okay, wait there. So hold the story for a second. I have one straightforward analysis and something that I want to discuss over the table and put it over the table. Why, if so, and hopefully this will change, and this is changing at some point, I'm seeing it. Why companies used to or are more comfortable by promoting directly the top performer into a sales manager role or into a team lead role, when we know by fact that the skills that you have or that you need for a sales direct role and from a sales manager role is completely different. Why does that happen if it's not a completely success criteria that we should focus on?
Retention. People are forced into it sometimes. Sometimes you're forced into it. I have two choices.
But I can say no and I say I want to stay as an IC.
So you could. And, at large multinationals I've worked for, some of the individual contributors that were in their 50s, that were out there doing the multi-million-dollar deals.
They're making a lot of money.
And they were killing. They were making more money than anyone. And
they're the manager, and they are the manager.
They're making more than a manager. And so they should be, because they're out there doing jobs. So when that works really well. When you have a position where it's like, if I don't put this, like my top salesperson, if I don't retain them by promoting them, and I can't just pay them, for whatever the headcount, budget or whatever, they're going to go somewhere else. So companies sometimes get forced into a promotion to put them into a team lead role because it's better that. And you think, I will then coach them on how to be a rep than lose them externally.
But what's the retention? It's a valid, legit analysis. But why? But that doesn't mean that they will be good at
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Role.
And so I've got a quick story on this one, and I'm going to talk about a personal friend as well. I've known for a long, long time. So one of the best sales guys again I've ever met. That guy, you come against him. In fact, I did come against him. Me and my team, when he was working at a different company, we came up against him, and I was doing the review with my rep.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so you're up against this company. He said, yeah. And I'm like, shit, I know one of the guys that works there. I was like, you don't happen to know, do you know which rep you're up against? And they're like, it's like Steve Mahoney.
I say,
I was like, head drop.
Lost.
Head drop.
I have exactly the same.
I basically said, if you don't do these things, he's gonna destroy us.
Yeah.
That guy, Steve, went and found the owner of the company, likes rugby. He's an ex semi-professional rugby player himself. Managed to somehow insert himself at the same game, in the same area, accidentally bump into the CEO, get talking about rugby. Oh, and by the way, just so happens to be competing with us in that deal, came in. And my rep was going, no, we got it. Our products are doing, but we got it. And I'm going, you are going to get fucked. And I don't like getting fucked. We're about to get fucked. Mahoney's coming for us, right? Get me in this deal. We need, no. I'm like, emergency, Mayday. Ringing the bells. Get me in. Anyway, I'm like, where are we on that deal? He's like, yeah, we lost it. I was like, I fucking told you.
Mahoney was like
Steve
partying,
dude. So anyway, I finally got to hire Steve. I'm like, I've been trying to get him forever because he's a bit younger than me. And so I've been staying ahead of him, let's say, on the career path, but he's an absolute killer. He's got a twin brother called Dan, also a killer. These guys are insane. So I finally got the opportunity to hire Steve to come in and run the enterprise team for me at a previous company. And I remember having this conversation about going from an IC to a manager. So I'm like, Steve, you're doing a great job running the enterprise team. Being the enterprise guy. Great job. We got to be scaling up. And you said when you came in, you also wanted to go build this team. And so we got that agreement. Let's start hiring people. So putting a team underneath him. And I remember having a coaching session with him. And it sounds obvious, but it's a difficult pill to swallow. That guy is an animal. He is an absolute wolf.
Beast.
He's a beast, right? But he lived on getting out there, closing the deals, and having people go, Mahoney's a god.
He lost the passion.
He loved it. And by the way,
passion.
more power to him. So I had to have a conversation. And I said, Steve, we got to talk. So we got to talking about it. And I said, look, your job is no longer to be the best sales guy in the room. It doesn't hurt that you are right now.
Correct.
Your job is not to be the best sales guy in the room. Your job is to go make a whole bunch of mini Steves. And then they become the best sales guy in the room. That is now your job, is to build and grow that team to be as good, if not better, than you are. Your job is to enable them to coach. Your job is to watch them. And when they're dropping the fucking ball, not run in and grab the ball unless you absolutely have to.
So it's all about ego again.
Well, I mean,
No, he liked it. And he
he liked-
wanted.
yeah,
Well,
and so-
But you need to put your ego aside and
You do.
let another one
By the way,
being
I
the
had to-
best
I had-
performer.
Exactly.
I had
It's
to go
really
through.
difficult.
I had to go through the same thing.
What was the conversation with? I mean, what
No,
happened?
and he was like, "Yeah," and we had no. He said that's going to be a tough. I like the recognition. I like being the guy that brings in the big deals. And I'm like, I know. And here's the thing: when you're a manager,
He's
when you're
an athlete as
when
well.
he is, when your team wins, when you're a manager,
Yeah.
you praise that team.
They win.
When your team fails,
You lose.
you are the one that has to take the hit.
That's
so
the
actually,
mindset that is-
you're in a. The team wins. It was all them.
Either
It was
you
all
lose
them.
or you lose.
It was all them. Oh. God, by the way, everyone fucked up. Yeah, that's on you, right?
Yeah,
and especially
yeah.
when, and so that conversation,
More money,
that
more
was a-
responsibility. It's
that
how it
was
is.
that was a mindset shift. So that kind of coaching and going through. So that's one of the things you got to learn. Going from an IC to a manager, and then fortunately, Steve and I had a very good relationship. I had been through the same thing. He's open.
kept as a
I'm
manager.
open. We could have the same, and he's doing a fantastic job. So
That's
there we
crazy.
go. We don't work together anymore. I've moved on. He's now taken my old job at the last company. I've moved on to a different company. So little
So
funny
you
story about that.
So you answered that.
Nice.
Now let's jump into the story that you had.
That was a funny story. All right, so this is one of my. You said ask me for a war story.
We usually don't prepare our guests.
We don't.
So it's really all
We
about.
didn't.
No. So it's
Well,
really,
the thing is, Kevin knows I've got so many stories.
Exactly. Just pick
he
some
was
of
like,
them.
just pick something, dude, or we'll
Yeah.
be here for 5 hours. right?
Exactly.
I mean, when you've been doing it for 20 years, I've been
You've been
traveled all over
place.
the world. I've been in nearly every single role. You can't not have some funny stories. So,
Should we make a 1 minute break so you at least tell the audience who you are, where did you live, where do you come from? At least something. I know that we don't like that because it's boring for the other side.
boring.
But we need to show you, man. So
Yeah,
in 60 seconds, your elevator pitch of who you are and where you're coming from.
started with yellow pages in a phone book. Now companies trust me to go build their go-to-market motions. That's
Amazing.
it, right? But in the meantime, I've worked at multinationals. I've worked at startup companies. I've been through startup rounds, mergers, acquisitions. I've worked at the big corporations. I've worked at corporations for a startup within that to go grow. Most of what I've done has typically been get in and grow, get in and grow.
Scale and
Get
expand.
Chris in to get in and grow it.
And you did
I've-
this in different countries as well, right?
Yeah,
You lived
yeah,
in
yeah,
different countries and you are from specifically to share the audience?
I'm from the UK.
Okay.
I'm from a little place called Portsmouth on the south coast. I live in Barcelona. You can tell my very,
Because
very
of your
strong British
accent,
accent.
yeah.
I'm not Catalan. Yeah, the accent's terrible. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. But you can find me on LinkedIn. That's me. But lots of experience in hardcore sales management, territory management, sales enablement, you name it, all that kind of stuff.
and in creating a good environment with the sales
No,
team.
we can feel it here.
I think that was when I had the pleasure to work with Chris. We had always fun working, right? We love to go
And
to the
learning,
office
man.
and learning. Yeah, like I think everyone was always looking forward to our Friday closing
Roundup or
closing roundup.
fucked up
Yeah.
stories.
Chris he's a pretty good rapper as well, so he was rapping.
I might be a sales rapper. I could rap about sales. That'd
Exactly.
be good when it's
I
very
think-
niche.
Exactly,
Very niche.
super niche.
So
The
yeah, there
audience.
was some good 2 years we had, I think, together. But yeah, let's get to the story. Sorry, before
No, it's fine. And I say that's also one of the things that I kind of pride myself on. And I've had managers, I've had CEOs or people that I report to that don't like it. They think I've literally been told, you are not hard enough on your team. And I'm like, I'm of the generation of being hard might be what you think that you should do. Being a hard ass doesn't work nowadays. There's a time and a place for it. But being supportive, being empathetic, being able to remove blockers to get their job done doesn't mean you can't set clear expectations, hold people accountable. But just being a like hire or fire mentality, that kind of stuff, it's not going to get you anywhere. You get a bad rep, people don't want to work for you. One of the nice
and
things,
new 20s people,
they're not
they
going to
say, hey,
who's this?
F off.
Who's this
I'm
guy?
going away.
Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the things that I pride myself on, I'm not, there are a lot of things I'm not very good at. One of the things I pride myself on is being able to, and others tell me, including, Kevin saying it, is actually trying to build as best as I can, an engaged culture where people are like motivated and happy as they can possibly be to go and get told no 50 times a day, but like trying to drive that motivation and passion. So that's if you want someone that does that, I'm your kind of guy. If you want someone that's going to be like a hardcore sales VP, revenue operations type guy, like, you know, like I'm data driven, but like, hey, let's get in front of the people, and we got technology to do that. So, story. I'm in Australia. I'm with one of my phenomenal sales rep, guy called Richard Elvin. That guy was also a beast. I've been very lucky building up. You know, in 20 years, you like every couple of years, there's someone that just like is the unicorn. You know, you just meet, and I try and stay in touch, try and hire those people everywhere I can. Right. So Kev's one of them. Obviously, we can see. So I had to say that he paid me.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I just was no money was.
He's saying no to your offers, right?
Chris, take the socks back.
That's it.
And he's saying no to your offers, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's playing hardball.
He's playing hardball.
So we're in Australia, and I'm like, all right, let's run around. We fly over to Perth. I go over to Perth to go meet my sales rep over there, and he's booked a bunch of meetings. So we go into this factory, very Australian. We're talking factory in Australia, in the suburbs, kind of like tough guys, you know, tough Australian guys. No shit.
Not easy thing.
Straight. I won't, you know, I've sworn a little bit on this, but the profanity is insane. Like every other word is something, right? I'm talking tough guys, right?
Yeah.
So we go in this factory.
They'll look at you and you're done.
I'm like, I'm quite a big guy and stuff, but like Richard also is even bigger than me. We walk in, we're both like, all right, you know, factories, oil, fire, you know, you name it, everything's going
What you
everywhere.
were selling at the time?
Software, design software.
Okay.
So we go in to meet the CEO because the CEO has got our, CEO's interested in our software. So we go in, all right, boys, sit down. You know, we're like, all right, here we go. So we go in and he's like, yeah, me and the boys have been working on your software now for about the past couple of years. It's a terrible accent. I don't know if I'm allowed to do accents, but anyway. So he pulls up. We know he doesn't have our software. He's got cracked software and he's openly telling me, right, we're using your software. Right, can you train us on this? So I'm thinking, right, okay.
Be careful here.
Be careful. So we're coming from the place of, so you recognize a value in our software. You recognize in our minds, we're like, you can see me and Richard like thinking, you recognize the value in our software. You recognize the value so much that you're using it. You recognize the value so much that you're willing to talk to us about it. You ain't paying for it because you're basically using you're using cracked software. So we're like, okay, but just to let you know, Mr. Tough Guy, you're not actually one of our customers. Yes, we are. I've got your fucking software. You've not got it the right way. I think you've got your cracked software. And he's like, Barry, or whatever. Anyway, turns out cracked software everywhere. So I'm like, right.
Barry was in trouble.
No, he wasn't. That's the point.
He's like, hey,
He
Barry,
wasn't.
you did this.
Yeah, okay, good job, mate. Anyway, so, like, all right. So me and Rich are like, all right, what do we do in this situation? Because obviously we want to legitimize it. We want them to be happy customers talking about us. To their network, referring us in, using our software because they could have cracked any software. They cracked ours. So thumbs up. There's a reason for it. It's the best. So we're basically, and so we got to bring up and say, look, we need, and ultimately bring the story down. We got to bring up the point of we need to legitimize. We need to come into compliance on your software. And he's like, no, mate. No, I don't. And I'm like, well, we need to. He's like, what are you going to do? I don't know if I can keep doing the accent. What are you going to do? And we're like, well, we don't want to go here. We're going like value. We're doing all this stuff. And he's like, well, what are you going to say? Look, we're obligated to report this kind of stuff to our legal team. Don't shoot us, blah, blah, blah. Oh, mate, that's going to get you fucking thrown out of here if you start getting legal involved. If you get legal involved, I'll shut down this place. I'll move to the next place along and I'll barricade the fucking doors. Get out. Crazy. Chucked us out, threw us out of the office.
That's fucking
It was
crazy.
insane. We both walked out like shell shocked, like, what just happened? And he looked at me and he's like, you're the sales manager. What should we do different? And I was like, I have never been in this situation. I've got no idea.
But that's one in a million, right? I mean,
That's happened once in 20. So that was the first thing. We got not physically, but closely.
Almost.
We got intimidated to leave this.
Because what's the course of
factory.
action there? So if you go back to the company and say, hey, someone is using it,
No, they get
illegally,
legal.
what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, they get legal letters and they start, they get more and more, and then maybe they get, a little bit of heat under them and then all that kind of stuff. And
what did you do? You advise legal or not?
We advised legal, and I never went back there again.
Absolutely.
Left Australia.
The lawyers.
Yeah,
and that's when I
left
moved to
Australia,
Barcelona. That's when I moved to
And
Barcelona.
that's how I met your mother. No,
Exactly. Exactly. I moved to Barcelona and met your mother.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Those
funny
stories. It's crazy. I mean, that's what I love about sales. Like, there is
Those
never
stories, yeah.
something that you will say, this is the playbook. There's
No,
nothing
no.
out there like a
we
playbook.
were like thinking, right, playbook of angry CEO,
yeah.
understands he's got non-compliant software, doesn't give a
But-
crap, threatening to throw
There
you
is,
out.
there is always a new...
One thing you didn't do, Chris, you didn't sell value.
I could have sold 2, not 1,
Yeah.
and sold value.
Exactly.
We're number 1.
Yeah.
2 seats.
Kevin.
You're the
Hey,
best.
we are number one.
We're number 1.
Imagine the guy, like, what number one what?
What?
I don't fucking care about what you're saying.
We're number 1 at running out of here, that's for
That's
sure.
crazy, man. That's crazy.